Hi, Zach Bassett here with COS Accounting and Tax, doing another video for my Compounding Interest podcast. This one is just, I want to kind of give you guys a breakdown on when you might need a lawyer and, where to go. Make sure you're not spending money on a lawyer when you don't have to, that type of a thing. So it's very confusing when you're starting your own business as to, like, what do we do? What's our first step? Well, one of the biggest things is going to be setting up your entity, right? So hopefully you know that you need to have an entity if you have a business, because what if you get sued? If you get sued and you don't have an entity, they can take all of your personal assets, income from other sources, all of that. You don't have anything limiting your liability. So anytime you're starting a business, you're going to want to get an LLC, or some sort of entity, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you need a lawyer. So if you are a single member business, it's just you're going to be doing door-to-door sales, then you're going to want to do an LLC taxed as an S Corp. And we are going to be able to set that up for you. So you don't need to use a lawyer to set it up. We can do that for you and use our in-house lawyer, but it's going to be a lot cheaper than going through a lawyer. So go through COS Accounting to get that done. Check out the other videos on LLC or entity creation if you do want to get one set up. You can fill out a form and just get it set up pretty easily. But let's say you are doing a two-member business with a friend. It's you and a friend. You're going to start your own door-to-door company, and you're going to own 75% and he's going to own 25%. So at that point, you've got a 75-25 business, or you've got a 50-50 non-spouse business. For that, you're going to want a lawyer. So it's just a lot more complicated. You're going to want the lawyer to set you up with your LLC, but they're also so they'll set up the LLC, they're also going to set up the operating agreement or ownership agreement. Now, I'm the great guy to talk to about why you need an ownership agreement, because I've run into my issues with partners before where, you put in all the work and then they see an opportunity to say, oh yeah, we didn't have an agreement. We're just not going to give him his ownership. And then, we'll see if he decides to sue us or not. So instead of letting things get to that point, you want to have an ownership agreement. If you set it up right with a lawyer, then it's going to be from the very beginning, it's going to show how much ownership you have, how much ownership each of your partners have. So extremely important, even if it's your own brother, I know from experience, or if it's some of your best friends, I also know from experience there. You've got to have it set up from the beginning, because money does the craziest things to people. Your own flesh and blood, your best friends, it doesn't matter. Money can get to them. I mean, what if they have an issue and they gamble? They have a gambling issue and they lose a bunch of money. Well, they're in a really tight spot. So money, at that point, they can see, well, if we don't give them the ownership, I can get out of that trouble that I'm in financially. Don't give people that type of an opportunity by do an ownership agreement up front. Your lawyer would help you structure it, so it's going to say every single thing. It's going to say what happens if someone, a partner dies, or if you want to buy or sell part of your business. If someone gets disabled. And the list of things, goes down to the floor 5 times over, if you want it to, of all the different scenarios that can come up and happen where you're going to need to know, what do we do? One way or the other, what are we going to do? So your lawyer, if you have a good one, you're going to have everything covered. The great thing about a good lawyer is that you can tell the difference between a great lawyer and a regular lawyer. For the longest time, I went to lawyers that I thought were great, I don't know, but after looking at things, I was able to tell that really all they did was take a template from online and switch things around, because there was nothing really in specific to my company. Well, once I found Cory Backus, he's the guy we use. I highly recommend using him. If you do want to use him, just check out his info at underneath this video. Oops, Backus. There'll be a fillable form to get in touch with him, but he can do anything from setting you up with that ownership agreement to reviewing a contract that you have. He does things on a much higher level than these other accountants that I ever had, and the pricing is very good compared to the other lawyers as well. So it was crazy. I kind of realized that we're getting so much more value for the exact same thing and the same price with this guy. So I've been recommending him out to as many people as I can, especially if you're in direct sales, door-to-door sales, or have your own small business. That's what he specializes in. Rental properties, he can help you get LLCs for those. So he's awesome. Check him out and he'll help you out. But that's another time you're gonna need an LLC in each of those, in the situation where you have a partner that's not your spouse. If you and your wife are a partner, you want to go in on a business and you're 50-50, we can still set those up through COS accounting. You don't need to spend the extra $800 or $1,200 to get it done through a lawyer. Another time would be yes to anytime you buy a rental property. That's going to be a big deal that you have each rental property under its own LLC, or you do a series LLC. I personally, through experience, recommend doing separate LLCs for each one. You're going to be limiting your liability to the maximum power, because let's say you have 5 properties, right? I set up an LLC for each one. If I have one that's on Canyon Road in Providence, Utah, I'll name my business Providence Canyon 1. That way I know that LLC is for that property. So I'm not going, oh, I named this one, Bold, Enterprises. Now I can't remember where that property was. It's kind of not very intuitive, because you probably want to get 20, 30, 100 properties and a bunch of units. So make sure you name it in a way that you can see which one you're working on when you do it. Makes things a lot easier. But for each one, you get that LLC going. And if you get sued on this property, the Canyon Road property, maybe someone's renting it out and they break their leg, and they say it's because you didn't properly, fasten the hardwood in. So they're going to win that lawsuit a lot of the time. It's really in the favor of the tenant, especially in certain states. Some states it's going to be more in favor of the landlord, but still, no matter what state you're in, you want that separation, that LLC, because you might be sued in this one, but you've got 4 other LLCs. You might have $20,000 in equity in this property. Well, the most they can take is all of that property from you. They can't come after LLCs 2 through 5. So that's a really big deal, right? If you have one LLC for all of them, which so many of my clients do that because I guess they don't believe me when I'm telling them they need one for each. Well, it's going to be a wake-up call for some of them. When one of them gets sued, if someone breaks their legs or dies, heaven forbid, in your property, they can now sue you for the entirety of all 5 of those properties. So really, really big deal. Now all those years of hard work that you did to get those properties, they're gone. They don't apologize for it. They sue you and take your money. Lawsuits are the worst. So just know that, be prepared. I mean, it costs a few $100s to set up an LLC for each. And then you have to pay $15 a year to update that LLC in the state. Like, not doing one just becomes asinine. It's not a smart decision. So definitely for a rental property. If you've got a agreement with, say you do door-to-door sales, you've got an agreement with your pest control company to sell. It's going to tell you if you do this, this, and this, you get paid X amount. But there'll be a few things in there that are confusing and make you wonder, what is that even saying? Make sure you know what that's saying before you go ahead and just say, okay, let's sell. So you can go to below the video and see where you can actually submit your contract for review. Cory Backus will give you a price on how much it would be to go through it all and tell you what each thing is. And then now you're good to go. You can decide, well, should I go with company A, B, or C? Well, this contract is the best from what I can see when you're talking just contracts. That's what he's going to be able to tell you. So it's super, super beneficial. If you're in door to door, if you haven't heard the horror stories yet, you will. But a lot of people get deals where they think, this is amazing. You know, I'm going to make $300,000, $400,000 this year. And then come to find out, because of some weird bucket system or whatever it is that they have, they ended up making $30,000. So definitely have your contract looked at. It's just, that's a no-brainer. You know, obviously there's things like if you get a divorce or anything like that, but this is kind of more business related. But that's another good point for ownership agreement. What happens if you get a divorce? You don't want that your partner's ex-wife to be taking half of his portion of the business, do you? Like, that is a really, really big deal. You've got to have that in that ownership agreement so you know exactly what to do if that happens. These are going to be the main times as a business where I would have a lawyer help out anytime you're building a new contract. So if you are making a contract for your own, you know, your pest control company, and you want to make sure the contract doesn't have any holes in it for you to get, you know, for lack of a better word, screwed over, you want to make sure that all those things are covered. And that's what he can do. He can help you formulate the contract from start to finish. So super good time to have a lawyer. Anytime you're growing your business and you are considering another step, like, hey, we were thinking about going into Florida and we want to sell. How do we get around the whole needing to pay them as a W-2? Those are the type of questions you want to have for your lawyer. A lot of those questions I know the answer to as well. I can help you through our CFO service. That's an hourly service where you call with questions and it's billed at $250 an hour. But I'm going to be able to help you build your business as you go through the motions, and each little thing that you need to figure out. That's what the CFO service is for. So these are the main times. Make sure that during these situations, or you're growing your business, new markets and whatnot, that I would use a lawyer. But if you have questions on whether, hey, do I need one? It doesn't hurt to get a free consultation from him and see what it would cost to help you with whatever it is. He'll tell you, I don't think you need one. You can go here. He's not going to set you up with a plan just to bill you because he can bill you. He's going to make sure that you're getting the service that you need. If it's something that we can do over here, he's just going to transfer you over to us. But yeah, hopefully this helps out a lot. Take a look at it. If you want a free consultation, fill out the fillable form below. We're happy to help. Hope you like it.